Finally found the studio of the Doug and Pat show. It doesn't look like anyone's been here in a while. It's been over 3 months since we've heard anything from these two. Everything seems to be deserted. Rumors swirling about what's happened to these guys. Has Pat finally succumbed to old age? Has Doug finally gone off the rocker completely? Letters are coming in, emails are coming in. Where are these guys? What's going on here?
Get out of our way! We've got work to do!
Where have you been for the last couple of months?
We don't want to talk about that. I was sick.
Okay.
Are you saying that we weren't around?
Well, it's been a while, and there's got to be
It
a
has.
reason for that.
It has.
And I've been around, and if you call my phone,
He'll call you back when he
That's
feels
right.
like it.
That's right.
And it's so great. You just look at the phone, you go, I can't believe it. Pat's calling me back.
That's right.
You can't believe it.
So, what were you saying about these pickups?
They're going after the best sound of a PAF. We know that PAFs have a variety of different sounds. There's not a particular one. So the obvious thing is when people are making pickups, like the ones that we have today, they're going after the best of the best of the best, don't you think?
Right.
That's what they say. They're not going after the sound of a PAF, of a Gibson humbucking pickup made between mid-57 on until they change the sticker on the bottom. They're going for the best sound that those things represent on the best sounding guitars, which is why they were so much money.
Mm-hmm.
So here's a curious thing. Here are a couple clips that we think, and we've said this before, we have to hammer in this because we get some comments from people that maybe were not clear. In the early days, like I'm going to say 1966, when Clapton recorded with the Blues Breakers, this is a crude recording. You can really hear the guitar quite well. There's not a bunch of digital reverb because there was no digital reverb. It's live. And the sound of that guitar is just fabulous. This guitar, which is known as Oscar, this 58 Gold Top, it has a similar sound to it. It's alive. As you play it, it does stuff.
Yeah, it does.
So I thought what we'd do is let's just play a couple of the clips. This is Clapton and the Blues Breakers, and this is the sound that we're after. This, we think, is a significant tone. This is Billy Gibbons' first album, ZZ Top. This is not the remix with all the reverb on it to try to make it sound 80s.
Mm-hmm.
This is really crude recording, but it is a sound. Billy's playing his Sunburst Les Paul with no effects on it, hardly at all. This is just a great, great sound. This, of course, is Brown Sugar. I think that these two guitars sound very, very similar to each other.
I do too.
Don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And this sound to me is the sound. This is a little bit of Brown Sugar. You know, Clapton also played in the early days of Cream, maybe on the first album because there's a number of pictures before he switched to his SG. and Firebird 1 and 335. This is I Feel Free. And this is just one lick that just sounds so great, coming out of that sort of that soupy sort of a sound that they have on I Feel Free. There was a conversation that you had, I think by email, with a pickup manufacturer
Right.
who was critiquing us a little bit about the validity of what we're talking about and what we're trying to do, which is we think that the sounds that we just heard represent to us the best sounds of Sunburst.
Mhm.
Didn't Gibson reissue the Gold Top Les Paul in 1968?
That's right.
So Gibson, the company, thought it was worthwhile to reissue this guitar in '68. Why would they do that? What was going on back then? Well, we were around back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Blues Breakers album came out in '66.
Okay.
Clapton was playing a Les Paul and Cream a little bit after that. George Harrison played a Les Paul, Lucy, in the video of Revolution. And that was the same guitar that Clapton used to play While My Guitar Gently Weeps. There were a number of people, Bloomfield maybe, that were playing Sunburst Les Pauls. But Gibson didn't reissue that last Humbucking standard. They issued the Gold Top. I don't know why they did that. But a lot of the great players that people would quote as being influential hadn't even made their albums yet. Led Zeppelin 1 came out the same year that the Gold Top came out. The Allman Brothers, Live at the Fillmore East and all that, they didn't come out for a couple of years after that.
Right. 70s.
The ZZ Top first album came out in 1970. So what was going on there? I think it was the English guys.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, and that sound that your friend on the email alluded to was that we should not use an overdriven sound to demo neck pickups. I don't get that. I don't get that. To me, all of the sounds that we're talking about are slightly overdriven because it's where it sounds like what those guys sound like, don't you think?
Yeah.
So here's Oscar. You turn the guitar up a little bit. It's got that sound where it starts to break the amp up. You gotta have a good amp to do that. No
Sure.
pedal's gonna do that. That to us is the sound. That's the kind of amplifier that we would run into. That's why we run it into the Vox.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what else gets a really cool PAF sound? A non-PAF guitar.
Like a
Like?
Les Paul Special.
Like P90s. Here's one. Is this the most underrated guitar in the world?
I think one of the coolest looking.
Les Paul Special, 1956, P90s, and it gets that grease.
It does.
It's just
It does.
P90s. Recognizing that that's the sound, that's pretty cool. Don't you think that the early PAFs, they actually were going for this sound?
Mm-hmm.
Because they certainly have it, and they lost it after a little while. The pickups that we have today are the guys who are going after that sound. We have two pickup sets. One is Bare Knuckle. Now we did the Stormy Monday treble pickup a couple years back, but then we got in a set You got a hold of Tim, was
I
it?
did,
this
Tim
year?
Mills. Tim Mills.
That's really cool.
And, you know, he appreciates what we're doing. And I tell you what, we appreciate what he's doing also.
Yeah, these sound very good. And the main thing about it, as we pointed out before, is that you get a lot of cool stuff with it. You get a, I don't know what this is this a coaster?
A coaster?
Yeah, so we could put it on a telly if we decide to use one on a telly.
Yeah.
We'd definitely use it on a Les Paul Special.
You won't leave a ring on the
No,
finish of the guitar.
no. And some Rotosound guitar strings. We're going to play the Bare Knuckle pickups through the Vox with the Alnico Celestians, like we always do. And we're going to use as the test guitar a R7. Is it a,
Yep.
you know what year that R7 is?
06.
06 R. Gold top that looks a lot like Oscar.
Do you like the lining of my coat?
You
Just
know,
curious.
this coat thing you've got going is serious. The one that you had with the stuff up here, are you going to be bringing some other coats?
I will. I will.
I can hardly wait to see the next show. Pretty cool, Pat.
I like it. I like it. They're really comfortable, you know. They're just
Makes you look manly.
in this Oregon weather, which it's, you know, when it's not real cold and you don't need a heavy pea coat, but you know you don't need a windbreaker because it's not that warm.
Yeah, you're
This
in
is-
between.
yeah,
It's
this
like
is
the
just great.
breakup of a tube amplifier. It's not one and it's not the other. It's somewhere in the middle.
Right there.
Right.
That mid range.
It's perfect. So these Bare Knuckle,
Yep.
we play them in the R7. Then we swap them out into the Heritage H150 to see if the guitar has anything to do with the way it sounds.
Okay.
Yeah, because a R7 probably sells for more. Is it a custom shop guitar or something?
I don't.
I don't know.
Yeah.
R7 probably sells for more than a Heritage 150.
Both of them are heavier than an auto harp, though.
Don't get us going on this. Don't get us going. After that, we're going to hear some pickups from Mr. David Bose in Canada. He's in Tees, Canada.
Where's that?
Tees, Canada. If you go to Montana and you go straight up, you're going to run into it. It's in between Calgary and Edmonton.
Okay.
Yeah. This is a really interesting thing. So David got a hold of some original 42 gauge enameled wire from 1958 and from 1959. And he very carefully unwrapped it because the spools, I think one of them is metal and one of them is wood. It's slightly shrunk, but the wire's in great shape. And he built two pickups that are called the Holy Grail sets. The 59 Limited and the 58 Limited.
Wow.
He wound them to the typical scatter wound thing. He used A2 magnets. The Bare Knuckles use A4 magnets.
Mm-hmm.
All the other things about it are exactly the same. What the coils are made of, what the bobbins are made of, all that stuff. The maple spacers. And we had demoed the Sigil pickups some before, and so when he got back in touch with us to say that he had these custom sets that he was doing, we were all over that. The deal is there's only about a dozen of these 59 sets and I think 11 or 12 of the 58s. But he sent them to us so that we could check them out. And we are going to do exactly that. They look like this. Come in a nice wood box. We're going to play them with the covers on, and then we're going to have a little bit of a clip with the covers off. Does it make a difference with the covers on or the covers off?
Some people say.
Some people really do.
That's right.
Some people
Opens
really
it
do.
up.
Yeah. The demos were kind of long. You know, the pickups to me sounded very lively. It'd be interesting to see what you guys think. 58s, 59s, or the 59s with the covers off. Next up, we took the Bare Knuckle and we popped it into the R7. And then we popped it into our test guitar, the Heritage H150. See what they do.
What do those come in at? These come in at the bridge?
The Bare Knuckle?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bare Knuckle, according to the spec that they have on the website, is 8.4K. And the neck is 7.3 with the A4. The Sigils, we did a little test on those. The thing he does on those is that he kind of goes with what Gibson was doing in the day, which was he's winding it, and then the resistance is whatever the resistance is. I read those in the 59s. The two were, one was 7.5 and the other was 814. He doesn't say that one's a bridge or one's a neck. It's the same thing that Gibson did. You just take them and you choose. So Dave had them being closer to being exactly the same. 7.3, 7.6. My meter said differently on that, but it doesn't matter. You can read them and they sound like what they sound like. The 58s were almost exactly the same, 7.78, 7.7. So they're all, you know, 8 something below that. It's kind of fun that they're lower into that mid 7s, because that's where Oscar is.
That's where Oscar sits, right?
Yeah. Okay,
Yep.
Bare Knuckle. Bear with us. those pickups sounded. Interested in your comments. The idea is that we're just doing demos on them, recording them the best that we can, as clearly as we can, to try and go after that sound that Clapton got in the Blues Breakers, the sound that Billy Gibbons got on the first album, not on any of the others.
That's right. That's the sound that we like. You know, the sound that you guys like, you know, it might be completely different, and I'm sure it is. But that's the sound that we like and that we're going for, personally.
Yeah. I think it's important we say it
Yeah.
over and over again. We're not trying to lecture
Until
you.
you get it
Until
straight.
there will not be, will it be a pop quiz on this?
There just may be.
There will. What it'll be called? Blindfold test number 2.
Those.
Looking forward to that. What do you think about my neck?
You know what? I think
It has
it's
even bird's
pretty
eye
cool.
in it.
It does.
Pretty cool. I had to pop the truss rod out. Yeah, it's pretty great. You can go to our website, thedougandpatshow.com, pick up fashionable merchandise. Pat probably will be moving into a line of sports coats soon, available.
Mm-hmm.
But you can pick up your fashion accessories right now.
Help make Doug and Pat rich.
Yes!
That's the bottom line here, folks. And
I'm glad that we got on with that, because that really is it, isn't it?
that's right.
That really
That's
is
right.
it. When people question our integrity, that's what we just say, what integrity? I have to point out, though, that the Doug and Pat Show store will be closed for shipping starting April 1st while I'm in Spain. If you are a Spanish person, that is, if you live in Spain,
Parlez-vous français?
yeah, if you speak Parlez-vous français, I'll be in Barcelona, I'll be in Madrid, I'll be around. Write to us and let us know. Well, I'll be monitoring that stuff. Maybe we'll meet up and have a tapas or something.
A what?
Go to a tapas?
Topless?
What? What?
Topless.
What? When you're at our website, check out the Chasing Oscar project, where we play all of these guitars
You'd
with
have
the
to
same
go all the way
song.
to Spain to get topless.
So lots more exciting shows coming up. We
Right.
have new pickups coming in all the time. It's just going to be a great summer.
Got some, you know, the Telecaster show is
Yep.
getting together. And that's,
It is.
That's going to be a real fun one. That's
It
gonna be a
is.
real
It
fun
is. Blindfold test 2.
one. Wait till you see what he did the neck to a 54 Tele.
Well, I certainly would probably not take as much care as I did on this one.
Yeah, probably not.
No, probably not. Thanks, guys. I'm Doug.
And I'm Pat.
See you next time.
Bye. Before we get into this, there's something I have to show you. You're probably not going to believe this.
No, Pat, don't. Pat, this was in confidence.
Have you ever owned a 59 Stratocaster? Have you owned a 59 Stratocaster neck?
What do you think?
What can you tell me about this neck?
Well, I'm going to be going to Spain, and I need for 2 months. And I need something to keep my fingers in good shape. But the regular guitar necks are too big to fit into the suitcase.
Mm-hmm.
So I took this 59 that I have, and I just cut it off with the chop saw.
Mm-hmm.
That way it fits in the suitcase.
Okay. And when you put it back on the guitar body, does it look kind of funny? Kind of like a mandolin or something?
I also chopped up the body to make it smaller, because it's gonna be a short scale guitar now.
It's a nice
It's just a
bird's eye.
Stratocaster, Pat.
Brazilian roadwood slab board.
Well, on a Stratocaster. I can see you're upset.